So today we're going to do some live cooking. I'm going to show you a very simple and easy meat dish, like mince meat. In America, you call it your burger mince. Okay, so let's get cooking. I'm going to see what my camera is doing. Hello, ladies. How are you all doing? Who's cooking with me? I suppose none, because it's 4 p.m. Okay. I love having a live workshop, by the way. And you can hire me for a workshop, for a kitchen tea, for a bachelorette, for any event, for a ladies' event. I had so much fun. Now that COVID is a bit lifted and the restrictions, and we obviously use protocol, but we can really do a workshop in your hometown, in Cape Town, anywhere in South Africa. I would love to come and visit and do a workshop, even a few-day workshop. Okay, so first I want to show you my ingredients. I have my sharp knife. You see this is a very nice sharp knife for vegetables. It's big, but it rolls very nicely. Okay, I'm not going to go into skills and everything else. And then I have a smaller one for in case, and I have my wooden spoon for my pan. Here's my pan. I wish you could see the size of it. It's huge. It's more industrialized type of pan. You don't get it in the normal shops. I had to get it at a catering shop, and it's brilliant. It's got a thick base as well, so it really distributes the heat well. And because I have a family of 5 and we eat like my kids eat so much food, so they're growing, right? So I want a 1-pan meal. I want something that fits into 1 pan because I have a lot of vegetables I added there. So that's what I need a big pan. So that helps a lot. Okay, then what we have is our protein. Now I know South Africans, we love our protein. And around the world, you guys will love your protein. So this is 500 grams of beef mince. America's, you call it the burger mince, right? Now I love, actually, this is now beef mince, but usually we have game mince. It's wild meat, right? Which is much better because there's no other hormones, there's no growth hormones added. It's amazing stuff. So obviously grass-fed, if you can, makes a huge difference, by the way. Not necessarily organic, because they can bypass a few things, but grass-fed is fantastic. Okay, so we have our meat and we have our plant protein, which is our black beans. These two goes well together. You're going to say, Lisha, my kids will never eat black beans. Well, they will if they eat it like this, I promise you. And you won't even see it. Okay, then we have, if you look at this side, we have obviously our onion, our flavoring. We have some herbs, some fresh herbs. I said in the recipe you can have your normal dried herbs as well. This is oregano. We have some sage here. And we have some rosemary. Okay, but you don't have to. You can start with your dry herbs. Then I have some basil, fresh basil leaves to add at the end on top because it's so delicious. I have some tomato paste we're going to use. That's in the recipe. We have a tomato mother sauce that we make that you can actually blend and freeze and do so much with. Use it as a pizza base. But for now, I'm not going to give you all those wonderful recipes. I'm just going to use tomato paste. And this is also if you don't have all your recipes, all your ducks in a row, right? The ingredient that I'm missing is balsamic vinegar. I love cooking my meat with a little bit of balsamic vinegar, but I have some fresh lemon, some fresh lemon juice, and I have my salt, and I have my freshly ground black pepper, and I will see if I'm going to use this. This one, it's not in the recipe, but this is our dukkha spice, but I made it very fine. Dukkha spice is usually a little bit more coarse. It's seeds and nuts roasted, just dry pan roasted with some coriander and other spices. Paprika, smoked paprika added in there. And then I roast the seeds and the spices, the raw spices or the spices, and then I blend it, then I make it fine. So that's basically my chicken rub, my beef rub, it's stuff for meat. And it's so healthy because there's omega-3 oils in there from your flax seeds, and so it's amazing. Everything here adds to your health. Then we have our vegetables on this side. Onion counts as a vegetable, right? Then we have a pepper. This one, as you can see, we talked about it yesterday. Well, actually not. I had my group coaching session also yesterday, so I'm kind of confusing with that. But we talked about the different colors and what it adds to your health. So this one, as you can see, to all of you, Madeleine, I think, Heather, you're watching. So you obviously going to, if you didn't see yesterday's live, there's your red, there's your orange color, and there's your green chlorophyll. So you want some of each, and all of these colors add to your health. It's absolutely insane. And then we have kale, finely cut kale. And we're using kale because it doesn't get soggy in your meat dishes like spinach does. So this is very nice. Actually, this is a very fine kale. I think the thicker one, the more rubbery one works very well. If you cut it finely, it doesn't make that sogginess. I think this one may do that as well, but I'm not sure. And then I have 2 huge cut carrots here. Carrots is incredibly good for your health. Okay, so that's good. So you see here, in the recipe, I also say grated zucchini or baby marrows. Depends on where you are, what you call it. And I don't have it today. So I would have probably added when I didn't have it. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 vegetables, and zucchini would be my 5th vegetable, right? So try to go for 5 vegetables. And then I have my exotic mushrooms. Mushrooms are amazing stuff. This is exotic one, so it's obviously a little bit more expensive. You can also grow your own mushrooms. But what a mushroom does, I have to tell you this. I have to tell you this because it's so amazing. So what does, here we go. What does mushroom do? Mushroom has a compound in it, but it's not just, unfortunately, not just the button mushroom doesn't have it, the normal button mushroom. So you have to go for the exotic ones. I can't even pronounce these names. I just buy the exotic ones and I took off the lid. This is the, I know the names, but I don't know it now. Okay, so amazing. They add so much flavor. But what it does is, it's a fungi, right? So many people say, firstly, you have to stay away from fungi if you're prone to fungal infection. That's not true. That's not true, because you get good fungi, you get bad fungi. Same with bacteria. Your probiotics is good bacteria and fungi and actually viruses. You get good viruses. And then you have your bad stuff. So don't leave out your mushrooms because you are prone for fungal infection. That's not at all related. Okay. So what does a mushroom do? It has a compound in it that actually goes to any cells that multiplies very rapidly. And there's only 3 cells doing that, but it attacks 2 of the 3. The one is milk ducts. Okay, obviously when you're making milk for your baby, that's a very quickly growing cell. Now, obviously it doesn't go to that. All right, I suppose God programmed it like that. I don't know. But cancerous cells, carcinogenic cells, cancerous cells, and fat cells has that personality. It's very scary. They work very much the same. They multiply very quickly. So what it does is it's that active ingredient. It actually, it's not an ingredient, compound. It goes to those cells and it cuts off the blood supply. I'm showing it on my hand because I've got thousands of cells here, right? And it goes to that cell and it cuts off the blood supply to those cells and it starves it to death. Isn't that amazing? Now, don't go and overeat on mushrooms. Okay, nothing too much is good for you. So don't go and overeat. All you need is a thumb size per person per day. A thumb size, only a thumb size. So you can imagine, I don't have to use this whole thing for tonight's dinner. I don't. I actually, because we are 5 people, I can actually use this and it's more than enough. You hear what I'm saying? And it can take heat, not overcook it, but you can take heat. All right, so we have mushrooms. Now, let's get into it. Okay, I have to share my space here to make it visible. Okay, let's get back into it. Okay, I'm just going to cut the onion. Let's start. Now, to give you an idea, it's now 4:25. We're definitely going to go over half an hour. I'll probably go into an hour. So if you want to watch the replay, you're welcome to. Okay, so I'm not a chef, so I want to show you. I'm a mommy, but I love to cut my onions like this in wedges. I learned this, I suppose, at university and working with chefs, I suppose, in a small time. I worked with chefs, not long. Anyway, so this is a huge onion. So you see how my knife is actually just flowing through it? Very nice. Okay, so this is our flavor. And who doesn't enjoy onions? Who uses onions in their food? Please put it in the comments. I can see your comments. Or open your mic. That's actually easier. You use onions in your food? My husband doesn't like it. Okay, I see some comments. Let me see. I love when you talk with me. Let me just open my comments. Ta-da! Love, love, love onions. Yes, definitely use onions. Fantastic. I also love onions, but my hubby doesn't react. Venison. Thank you, Monique. Venison. Venison is unfortunately not great. Okay. You don't have to use it. Thank you for that translation there, Monique. I really appreciate it. So I don't cook with onions a lot because Paul doesn't react so well on onions, but I love it. It really adds so much flavor. You see, I'm not even a professional. I'm cutting it very weird. So it's 25 past, and we have to have dinner ready and done in half an hour, right? So that's what I'm saying in my program as well, all my cooking. So let's see. Now I'm going to talk a lot. And to be honest with you, what I do not do is I don't work with a lot of raw meat because I cook my meat over weekends and I use already cooked meat. So it really helps me to make things quicker. So here's my onion. I'm going to start and put it onto this plate. You're not going to see it. So that I can go on prepping. Okay, so this is what I usually do on my stove as well. All right. Let me see if I can change the camera a little. There we go. Almost there. Okay, so there you can see in the corner is my pan. It's cooking. I'm going to use some coconut oil. So here's my coconut oil. You don't need so much. You need this. This is like a heaped tablespoon. Oh, teaspoon. All right. So one thing I want to show you, what I didn't get to do before we done our live, is to defrost all my bone broth. So what I did, it's still a bit frozen in there, which is fine, is I put it in hot water in a plastic container, and I added some hot water inside. It just makes it easier, and you don't have to. You see, I'm not perfect. I don't have everything on time. Okay. So what I say in the recipes, you can actually water saute the onions, or you can saute it with your bone broth. That's what I do many other times. And you don't even use oil. Okay. And why don't I use oil for everyone doing keto? Because too much oil is too much, and you will learn exactly why in my program. I cannot explain everything to you in the session. But coconut oil is not a bad thing. But coconut oil on its own is literally just absorbed and just used as fat cell. That doesn't help. You use it like that, and it actually makes you very tired. Okay, it really makes you tired. I know many people going over to ketone has immediate energy. But that immediate energy is because you are taking out your processed carbs, your breads and your starches. That's when you have initial energy. But now you're also not filling up with the necessary foods that you need to. Okay, your different vegetables and everything else, and your beans. So this is the problem there. Right, so now I can obviously add soon. I can add some herbs or spices in there. I don't have my smoked paprika here. I usually throw that in on its own, but that's not going to happen today. Okay, so now I'm just going to cut my pepper quickly. This is what I learned from watching Jamie Oliver. Okay, now I actually got that one. This piece we can throw off. So can you please my smoked paprika brand? Four. Yeah. You just arrived home. Dinner's going to be on time today. Thanks to you, ladies. Okay, that is going. And you can see I'm using gas. I hope you guys can hear me. But can you hear me well? Just put it in the comments, please. So I'm using gas. My gas stove. It's much quicker than electricity. Okay. So I actually, in my kitchen, my stove top is still electricity. So I actually put this to burner. Okay, so I use my 2-plate burner on top of my stove because I hate working with electricity. It just takes too long. You see, I'm cutting it very roughly. Okay, now your family doesn't eat peppers. Don't use peppers now. Start only with the grated stuff. Grate it in and see how it cooks away. Okay. Obviously, I washed this pepper beforehand. Okay, if you have any questions, pop it in the comments or open your mic. If I don't respond, quick enough. Okay, I'm going to try and keep my page open on my phone as well, so I can see you guys there. Okay, let's see. Comments. Very nice. Okay, fantastic. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello. It's great to see you. Everyone watching online, welcome to the scene. Okay, if you have any questions, let me know. Okay, so onion is a very, very good food for you, so keep on doing the onion. I'm going to add, now obviously here you can add your dried spice as well. I'm going to add some rosemary. You see how little I use? I'm actually going to use half of this thing. It's a very strong herb. Just cut it very finely. Careful with your fingers. Obviously, you can add garlic, right? But garlic is one thing that does not go well with the stomachs in this house, unfortunately. And then we have our oregano. Oregano is a little bit of a softer herb. You see how I hold my knife. Okay, so keep it like this with your hands. Okay, it cuts very easily. So then you can see, oh, it's nice and getting browner. So now you add, let me just show you that quickly. You see it's nice and brown. Now you add some bone broth to loosen the nice flavors at the bottom, right? And use my bone broth. And loosen it up a bit. All the flavors will come loose in a bit. Just make some space here. I don't know about you, but I'm going to have dinner ready at 5. How amazing is that? See, I understand. Okay, let me just go back. Show you guys something. Oh, there we go. There we go. That's better. Okay, so here's our cooking going. All right, you see it's nice and brown already. Oh, and I smell the amazing rosemary. Here I've got sage. Now, we like herbs and spices, so honestly, it's so delicious to add this to your meals. Some fresh sage. Okay, so I'm going to add the sage. I'm going to wet with the oregano a little bit. Just let that soften up. Oh, it smells divine. Okay, so here we've got that. Does it look very familiar to you? I suppose you ladies are cooking like this as well in your homes or not? Let me know. Okay, I have 500. Honestly, this looks like much more than 500, but it's supposed to be 500. But anyway, let's put everything in there. Now, this meal with 500 grams of meat, I can honestly do with less because in my meals, we're going to have so much flavor and fun here. The meat is not, it's literally, it's the base of. The meat is the side dish. It's almost like the side thing. It's not the flavor. We are very dependent on the meat to add flavor to your meals. And that's actually wrong. And it's not even needed. Okay. It's really not necessary. Okay. So there we've got it. The meat is going to go now. And my husband added I buy my smoked paprika in bulk. Smoked paprika is divine. It really adds that smokiness. Oh, it's really delicious. Okay. And yeah, I'm just going to add a tinkle of this one. It's not in my recipe, but I mean, you angle it. You have the video, right? Okay, so now I have some coriander in there. Some smoked paprika in there. Now we want to brown the mince. Now again, this part of it, this cooking the meat doesn't I don't do it every day, as I said, because I have cooked meat already. So by now, I would have added the vegetables already and some of the other stuff and the sauces, so that you're going to eat even quicker, 20 minutes, 15 minutes. Okay, and I'm going to serve it on the rice. I just want to show you the rice soon. So I'm loosening up all the brownish stuff. Okay, do you guys use a non-stick pan, or do you use stainless steel, or what do you prefer? Iron? What do you prefer using? Let me know. I don't see any comments. Looks like you ladies are not cooking. Janina, I understand if you're not cooking. Okay, that's fine, because you are lying on your back at the moment. So I understand that, but the rest of you, do you enjoy doing this? Do you actually cook mince like this? Or how do you cook it? Just open your mics and let me know. Or in the comments. AMC cookware, cast iron preferred. Stainless steel, AMC waterless pots. Ooh, you're fancy. I like that. Cast iron preferred. Cast iron is very nice if you know how to look after it, right? Not let it soak, water soak in it, and stuff like that. It's a very nice one. Okay. So I have a ceramic non-stick pan, and I really want ceramic cookware. It's so nice. But it's a smaller pan, so I use it for smaller things. This is for my big meals. So I haven't changed the heat at all. It's still on max heat. Because of the meat and the bone broth, it's obviously cooled down a bit. So it takes a bit of time to get back on it. And all this goodness, all this brown that you see here, it's still stuck there. It will loosen, obviously. Non-stick. Stainless steel non-stick. Okay, Monique. So do you cook your stuff also like this, browning the mince? Or is it only me? Let me know. And does your kids enjoy it? Does your kids or like grandkids enjoy it like this? Okay, so this I'm going to put on the side. Just want the mince to. Now, many times when I'm really in a hurry, I will just chuck everything in here. Like, just chuck it in. But now I just want the mince to brown a little bit. Okay, I want to show you the rice I'm making. We have cooked rice because Paul loves his rice as well. So this is golden. This is basmati rice and lentils that I cook together. So we cook like a few cups, like 3 cups of basmati rice and 1 cup of lentils. The normal way of cooking of rice. And we have a huge pot. And he loves his rice salads, and he loves his rice every evening. I know that's him. He would eat anything on his rice. Now, Lisha, this is starchy. It's too much starch. I cannot do this. Can I tell you a secret? Basmati rice is one of the, and jasmine rice, not jasmine rice. Basmati rice is the only rice that actually helps to stabilize your insulin. Did you know that? There's basmati rice. And the lentils also help it because it's a legume. And the combination of legumes and basmati rice has got all the essential amino acids, the building blocks for muscle, that you need. So that's why you don't really, I will see the questions now. That's why you don't really need to have meat, especially not every evening. Okay, so this is like a complete protein already. Yes, there's other proteins that you still need and want and whatever. And it's okay to have some meat. But the point is the meat is not the main ingredient. Okay. So I'm showing you now a quick trick. But as you learn on my program as well, remember this one meal is not going to change your life. One meal is just an example. But as we go, I can just see and hear my conversations with my clients in the sense of starting with very little vegetables and how to strategically increase it without them knowing it. And when their palates are getting used to it, then it's so easy to work with it. Okay, so easy. So you don't want them to necessarily taste the vegetables for their palates to start to recognize and get used to some flavors. Okay. So again, here's your meat. It's kind of cooking. It's a little bit too slow for me. But anyway, so this is great. I'm just going to go to the questions quickly. Non-stick, yes. Carol, yes, must brown meat first. Otherwise, I find it goes clumpy. Yes, it does. I hear you. I hear you. And it adds more flavor to it. What about black rice? Monique, you having what species is the black rice? And you can actually Google it. But I will definitely have a look at it. But what species is it? What is it? What type is it? What type of rice? Because it's about the chemical composition of it. You get so many different products, right? I'll definitely look into it. Let me know what the name is or what the brand is or something like that. Okay, so I'm gonna skip some browning process here because I would have browned it a little bit more, but it's actually fine like that because I have a lot of herbs in there. And now at this stage I would have added a little bit of balsamic vinegar just to help that brownness, and it's almost like that Worcestershire sauce. It's almost like that, so it helps there. Okay, so let's go for our peppers. I'm still going to add the oregano now already in there. And go for the pepper. Now this is chunky peppers. You see there, it's chunky peppers. My kids love peppers, so it's fine for my household. In your household, cut it finer or exclude it for now. Just have it for salads. Right. So many things you can do. Now it's starting to brown very nicely. Let me know how you guys are doing. Do you enjoy this? Do you actually cook like this or not? And how do you do your mince? That will be great to hear. There's always different ways to do things, right? Trying to get to the post. There we are. Geraldine, what oil do you use? Just locked in. No, you don't use olive oil for roasting veg. No, we don't use olive oil to heat at all because it changes the oils and it makes trans fats and it's not good oils for you. So it's obviously olive oil is not a bad oil. You just use it on cool, it doesn't cook well. It doesn't tolerate heat well. So I use coconut oil, Geraldine, for all my cooking. Coconut oil. That just works perfectly. It's a medium chain medium chain fats. So it really cooks well and takes the heat well. Its smoke factor is very high, so it means it doesn't smoke easily. All right, now I want to show you. I want to use some quick mushrooms in here. It's obviously going to soften down. See how I know some of you love chopping it very perfectly and finely, and that's also fine. But you know what? Time. If you just compromise a little bit on the perfect cutting, you can save so much time. And by the way, my kids help me cut. They help me cut the peppers. They help me cut the fruit. So I can obviously put more mushrooms. We have a mushroom bolognese that's divine. You don't use any meat in there, and it really tastes amazing. I have very traditional South African Afrikaans people loving it, and them giving up their meat is a big thing. Okay, let me add some two more because it smells so good when it's in there. I'm just going to add a little bit more for flavor. Okay, you see how I roll my knife? Anyone can do that. Just practice it. Keep your front end flat anchor it on the board and start cutting. Okay, so by now, I haven't even tasted it, but I'm going to add some lemon juice. I know it's going to bring out, lemon juice helps to bring out the flavors. So you don't want a sour dish, but you want some flavor coming out. And some black pepper. Oh, it's smelling divine. Okay, it's still browning at the bottom, so soon I will add more brown broth and then I'm just going to leave it to cook. So now we have our black beans and we have our greens and we have some carrots. Right, now the black beans, we can actually start using anything, but the black beans, yes, 2 cans. I'm not going to use all of it. But what's amazing about this is you can actually, with the black beans, you can mush it so you don't see it because it's dark with the meat, right? So you're not going to see it. And by the time they get used to it, then you don't have to mash it anymore because they're used to the flavors. Okay, I think that's fine. I'm going to use more. So you can see I would actually reduce the amount of meat I just put on today and just use more beans. It depends on where you are at, okay, where your palate is at. Okay, it's already lovely. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. Oh my God, look at that meal. Okay, and now we have our carrots. So if your kids are very texture sensitive, this was 2 huge carrots, so you can use. I'm not going to use all of it. So if your kids are texture sensitive, and you're going to think, Alicia, this is never going to work for me, don't discard it yet, because you can actually just make the cook it. You can actually have it completely cook away, and you won't even see it. You honestly won't even see it. I have grown-up clients, mommies, that hate vegetables, and she has to hide the vegetables for herself. That's what she loves doing. Aha, yes, I hide the beans in my mince. Yes, Eva, that's what we do. And the thing is, by doing that, you are stabilizing their hormones from such a young age. You are redesigning the release of hormones by some of the combinations. Yes, not everything is hanging on this one meal, because obviously if you're on my program, you are doing a few things, not just one meal. And but if you are doing this and combining it with the beans and with all the good stuff, you are literally redesigning your palate, changing the pathway of how your body usually reacts. Okay, so by doing this, all this fiber in there and the goodness and all the superheroes, the superfoods in there, all the flavonoids, the carotenoids, everything, all the chlorophyll in there is going to be added here. All this helps to strip your tongue of all the synthetic flavors. So your flavors, your food will start to taste even better. Okay. So now I'm going to add some. Now you can make it very tomato-ish. You can actually blend in a normal blender. You can blend some 2 tomatoes just to make like a tomato sauce, like a liquid. And you can add that and then add your tomato paste to make it really tomato-ish. Okay. You can do that. So it depends on what veg you have. There's a few variations of this thing. Okay. Sorry, forgive my finger. Forgive me my finger. It's clean, I promise. I didn't lick it. Okay, there we go. My hands clean. Okay, any questions, ladies? We have a few minutes. We started at 25 past, 25, 35, 45. Okay, so we're now at 20 minutes. We're basically done. What I'm going to do now, usually, is I'm going to add some liquids, some more bone broth. This is like a whole 600 mils of bone broth. And now I'm just going to leave it to cook and get softened and get mixed. And now I don't have the time here, obviously, with the demo to now crush the black beans for you. But when you mush it inside, it makes a sauce. It makes a thicker sauce. Okay, you usually add that packets of soups in there. Here in South Africa, they do it the brown onion soup or whatever to thicken it. You don't have to do that. You just use your vegetables or your beans to do that. Okay, now I'm going to add my greens. Now, what again, as I said, the kale. Oh, look how beautiful it looks like. Oh, it's so fun. Look at that. I love it. Look at that. Okay, so I have some fresh rocket in the kitchen as well. So I'm probably going to add that on my dish on top, at the very end. So this is for people on my program. I suppose we can add much more greens, but that's the whole point. You start somewhere. This is actually a very good amount for this dish, and you can add a little bit afterwards. So now it's going to cook away, right? It's going to cook away. You're not going to see it. You can add some microgreens on top. Okay, so now what I do here is I leave it to cook for a while, for like the last 10 minutes. And then I bath the kids, or I get the table ready, I pack everything away. We all get together and say, listen, it's dinner time, blah, blah, blah. And as soon as everything is done, dusted, we can eat. So this meal took, I should say, this meal is basically ready. It's 51. It's not even a half an hour, yeah. You see, it's easy and quick. Did I miss anything? No, I didn't miss anything. So I have some fresh basil. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add the basil in here because I love the basil in there. And then I'm going to add some more basil on top later. So now I had sage, I had rosemary, I had, what's the other herbs? Thyme is very nice in here, but I didn't add thyme. Rosemary, oregano, and what I add? Rosemary, oregano. Where's my words now? And sage. Rosemary, oregano, and sage. And then a little bit of basil. You don't have to add so much herbs. You can just do the dried herbs, but it's just so nice when you start to work with fresh herbs. It's really a different taste. Now, usually when I do a workshop, by now the mommies can taste the flavors and they freak out because it's so flavorful. So, would your kids eat a meal like this when it's looking like this? Remember, we're growing from strength to strength. We're growing in this. This is not going to happen overnight if your kids never had the mince like this. But now my kids know the flavors, they're familiar with it. So tell me quickly in the comments, would your family actually enjoy having a dish like this? Monique, where's the rice? Do you just put the meat on top? Yes. Yes, we just put the meat on top. So here's the rice. Here's the rice mixture. Honestly, this is a little bit too much for me. I would do that. I would actually not eat rice, by the way, because at this stage, my gut is still allergic to rice. So my family has it, but I had it in the past. So I would honestly do this because I want more of that. So I just want more of that. You hear what I'm saying? And I would put that actually on a bed of baby spinach or rocket or microgreens. I would put that at the bottom and just put the warm food on top. And it wilts the greens. So the greens starts to soak up all the juices. So that's how I would have it. But if I would have rice, I would have it this much. And I would add just the meat on top. Let me just show you how I would do it. Yes, we're celebrating with us. We just add a little bit more liquid here. So in this case, the meat, you see, it's a little bit dry. I'm just going to add some of my water. So if you don't want it watery with pieces of food in it, you want it more like what's it, monotonous, or what's the word I'm looking for, to have it one texture. You can obviously do the vegetables separate and the meat, and then just blend the vegetables in there. And add a little bit more tomato paste so it's red and it's not a brownish color. You hear what I'm saying? There's many ways to kill a cat. Horrible saying, but anyway. So here's the stuff. I didn't put any salt in here. Not one piece, not one little bit of salt. So I'm just going to taste it quickly. I'm so glad it looks delicious. Great stuff. Okay, now you're going to watch me eat. There's also something like liquid smoke that you can add. That's really good. It really brings out the flavor. It's almost like your bacon that you add to dish. This is so good. This is so good. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit, because it brings out flavor again. And then a little bit of sea salt. I use Himalayan pink salt or sea salt. And I'm going to use a little bit more smoked paprika. Makes it nice and red as well. And adds, it's a smokiness that's coming from the pan. It's so good. Okay, ladies, that's it. With all the chatting and everything done, this is done in a half an hour. Half an hour. Okay, can you do it? It's not so difficult. Obviously, there's alterations to this. There's a better option, a step up from this, a higher grade from this when you start getting used to the flavors as well. So there is a migration from one point to another. You can't just jump and let your family jump as well. Okay, so that is it. I really hope to see your pictures and stuff and how you're doing it and how it tastes like over the weekend. Whenever you're making it, please let me know. Would love to see it. And let me just dish up. You just dish up. Okay, so this is amazing. Now I would just put the meat there. I would just add the greens there. So just for the prettiness of it, I'm going to add some nice, beautiful oregano. Now look at that. Ta-da! Did you ever think you can actually have an incredible hormonal boost, balanced meal, super delicious, and the whole family can eat together with you while you are losing weight and stabilizing your hormones, and they are enjoying the food and having these cravings? Amazing. Okay, ladies, that's it from me. I hope you had a good time. Nearly done with my dishes. Oh, he said you're going to have to put a picture on. I'm so glad you cooked with me. I didn't know you were cooking with me. I love it when people cook with me. Okay, so put a picture on, please. Let me know. Let's see that as well. Okay, did you make the same one? I was wondering. Okay, so anyway, put whatever you did, put that on the Healthy Mom, Healthy Family group. Let's see what it's for dinner. Now I'm going to enjoy dinner outside in the wonderful weather here in South Africa. And it was great to be with you. And please, if you enjoyed this, like it, share it, invite your friends to our group, and let's just spread the love. Okay, have a wonderful, wonderful evening. Blessings from my side.